Okay. Hello. Hi. I
Sorry,
guess you wanted to start.
I'm sorry.
So, we are Cygnus and Phoenix Ton. Today we're going to be your casters for the first pointed Eternal Community League event. It is the Thursday. That is, it says 1 p.m. EDT there, but we're starting at 2 p.m. EDT at least today. Is all right. So Phoenixton might not have her mic working, so I'm just going to keep talking and talking about the weekly events. So today is the first event of the August Eternal Community League season. That means that it's the first opportunity to start racking up points to get yourself one of those 16 coveted cash invitational spots. So okay, so we will be running through these events that hopefully you've heard of by now. The Tuesday and Thursday weeklies, which start at very different times because they're targeted towards different continental player bases. The Tuesday one is targeted towards North American players. The Thursday one is targeted towards European players, but anyone who's around for either of those times is more than happy to, or more than willing, more than able. You're free to join in and play in these tournaments as much as you want. We'd be happy to have you. And then there's the Eternal Casual Friday, which is, of course, Friday. That's tomorrow. And in the ECF, the pointing from the ECF is just for showing up and playing at least 2 games. What's up?
A sec. Give me a sec. Okay, is it working? It should be working now. Okay, guys, sorry for the technical difficulties. We are having a bit of a problem. Our producer's internet died, so I'm having to produce that as well. So I'm sorry. Just to recap, no, actually no. Cygnus said everything perfectly. So this is the first tournament that gives point to players. We are just going to check with our TO if we can start this. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Who do you want as a feature? We don't know. Pick somebody, Cygnus, and we'll
Let's
go
find
from
the
there.
matchups.
So yeah. So basically, yes, we're going to award you points for
I
participating
don't think I can
in...
see the matchups.
Yeah, me neither. Ask Chef. So this tournament is going well, as you can see. Well, there isn't much to say about it.
Well, this tournament,
We've got 11
like
players.
as usual, will be capped at 4 rounds.
Yes.
It's best of 3 with a single deck. And once again, this is feeding into our end of the month invitational, which you can help pay for the prize pool, or even do so for free. Go on over to Matcherino. There's probably a link in chat, and there's definitely a link down below the stream where you can both use our code ECL August 18 to get in there to get 50 cents into that prize pool for free, and also use various different social links and codes on the Matcherino page to add even more money to the prize pool, once again for completely free. And if you want to be spending some money, on it. There are various different ways to do that. You look through all those rewards, see if there's something you want there. Even maybe some Soylent, which
With
is a thing. And Duncan
is a
bought
fan, yes.
$60 of them, and that's part of why our prize pool is nearly at $100 already, right at the start of the month.
That's true. So this is the prize pool that we will use for the tournament, obviously. And yes, we hope that you'll be able to participate and to tune in to the tournament. So let's see. We are going to be spectating Krog and Dr. Pringles. And I have Krog. Do you have Dr. Pringles?
I do not. I will be getting Dr. Pringle's info just as soon as possible. There we are.
I want to have access to the deck list, but we don't know why the site is acting up, so let's see.
Alright, there we are.
Okay, so whenever there we go. So let's swap the screens and let's go. So we don't have any deck list for now. I'm sorry, guys. We will have to get that to you for the next rounds. But
the players are diving in, so let's get to it.
I have to first of all, I have to correct a few things on this. Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, the hand cam is going to be a bit off.
Yes, the hand cam is off. There's a lot of things off. This is
Oh, it
there we go. The hand cam isn't off
seems
anymore.
that Dr. Pringles is probably playing an Icaria Black bullet shaper list, which seems exciting for sure. Currently, we can see in his hand a whole lot of power, a privilege of rank, and a bullet shaper. That hand is probably not keepable because there's no payoff, but maybe it could be because of the 4 crests in hand. We'll see what he decides.
Well, we'll tell the guys to go. I told Krogs you can tell.
I did.
You can tell Pringles. Well, there. Perfect.
And we're off to the races. Croge seems to be possibly a scream list. Dr. Pringles did decide to keep that hand, which is very interesting. He wound up drawing a Seek power, so definitely has access to plenty of power. Interesting. Krog is using Ixton merchants, and
yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely not a Scream deck. This is an End of Hostilities deck. Interesting.
Yeah, Dark Canadian deck?
Dark Canadians, perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to torch as soon as the Bullet Shaper arrives on the...
Oh, absolutely. You don't know that Dr. Pringles doesn't have any payoff for that Bullet Shaper right now, and it's possible that could just result in a 5 or 6 drop just showing up out of the blue over the next couple of turns.
Okay, give me a sec, I have to...
That is a large part of what Bullet Shapers are for. Eating torches.
I'm gonna just correct the hand cam. It's not very good right now. Filters, there you go.
And there's Croge's first payoff card. Not exactly the one he's looking for quite yet.
There we go, and there we go. It's better. Okay.
Dr. Pringles still has a hand completely full of power, so that Fire Sigil is going straight to the bottom.
Yes.
Combustion Cell is set up with a Spark Hatcher now for Krog. And there's possibly something. Ooh, a Slay for Dr. Pringles. He discarded a Seed of Glory off of the quarry.
So many powers, yeah.
Well, at some point, this probably means he's going to be drawing not power. And not
Probably
power seems
yes.
pretty good once you have enough power to cast all of your not power. There, Winchester Merchant. That's something that can throw Justice Sigil into the market to pick up either Icaria or Ichin's Choice, or
Nicaria,
Vanquish,
he'll
or
be.
Harsh Rule, and unsurprisingly, it's the big threat that he'll be able to play next turn that he
And Kroj
gets.
is on the other side without much power, and he can't do. Playing the assembly line is tempting, but you're playing into a harsh rule that happens before the Icaria. So that's
Yeah,
probably what we're gonna see.
as little power as it seems like Kroj has, he does have a bit
Oh,
more than it looks because of the combustion cell. But even then, he doesn't have
yeah.
any ways to really be dealing with the Sicaria
I
or
mean,
even the
even if he
Winchester
gets
Merchant.
to
And that's
six,
going to
yeah,
wind up being a very fast clock.
he can't play the Flamestalker with the combustion cell because he doesn't have the 3 fire sigils, which is why he doesn't do it. And End of Hostilities doesn't do anything. You could go and let me just check his market.
Oh,
You could
and Dr.
imagine
Pringles.
End of Hostilities for a merchant.
Dr. Pringles is already drawing
Yeah.
his buffed Rizan. That
Ooh,
means
no
that,
chill. The guy goes straight for the
wow,
face.
Winchester Merchant on top too. That's a 7/7.
Combus saves
I
him. This is a nice throw.
I mean, does it
Huh.
really? Okay,
Yes,
yes,
this
I
is
like this
beautiful.
play. I like this play. This is exactly what Croge needed to do.
So he pops the Aegis of Icaria so that he can combust next turn. And
Now,
god, the guy just draws his boosted units one after the other. So that's a
oh no,
Vanquish
that's going to be
plus
game
a Slay,
anyway.
and that's game.
Yeah, as both of the Rajans are going to die to
Yes.
various removal spells, and that's going to be a lethal attack from Dr. Pringles to kill Krog. That was, of course, game one of a best of three with no sideboarding, which means we should get right into the next game very
Yes. Let
quickly.
me just correct the fact that Dr. Pringles won this game. There we go. Okay, so once again, sorry guys about the technical difficulties right now. It should be resolved by round 2, I suppose.
Players are diving back
So,
in right
let's
now,
go.
so let's go. Dr. Pringles chooses to keep a much more reasonable hand this time, even though that unreasonable hand won him the game, and it looks
And
like
I've got
you have
a
a spectator
spectator
bug, so you're
bug.
going to have to really quickly reset. So I guess I'm going to cast this all from Dr. Pringles' side of things really quickly. Dr. Pringles decides to scout a Crest of Vengeance to the top. Now,
Okay, let's
Statuary
go.
Maiden
So,
in this matchup actually works out pretty well against stuff like those Spark Hatchers,
yeah,
because that's going to prevent the
it's preventing them
death
from
trigger.
attacking, but neither
Yeah, it's going to.
the death trigger or the fact that the only cheap spell that Pringles has to go with Maiden is Torch is very relevant. I think it's a nice card to block for sure the Grenadines, but
I could definitely see it eating a combust here.
oh yes, yes it will. Combustion cell in his hand. The deck is lacking for now something big to end of hostilities. So you're pretty much betting on your opponents having good units that you can take.
And so far, I wouldn't say Dr. Pringles really has anything that Croge wants to be into hostilities copying right now. So this game might become a little bit dirtily, but Croge could decide to wait out perhaps an Icaria that could show up right off the top like that, or
Or a
from a Winchester
premium
Merchant.
one.
That is a premium Icaria.
Oops, this is not the casual Friday. Nobody's telling me these things. uh, Thursday tournament.
Yes, this is not Friday and not as casual as that. Ah, that doesn't fit.
Give me a sec. I'm doing all this.
Yes, yes, you are.
Ah, these boys. Uh, and this is not
Dr. Pringles
indeed a great
decides to get
parliament.
Egan's choice, with which he's
I
going
have
to
been
hit
waiting
George's
for the card
face
to actually see play in
and
constructed now that it's
break
been upped.
that
Yeah.
combustion cell. Trojan spot in response torches to kill the Winchester merchant and chooses not to commit the combust here. That's going to be good because he recognizes that since his opponent already used the thing from the market, it probably means that there's an Ikaria in his hand anyway, and
What a prick,
here we
man.
see that Ikaria.
Without the combustion cell, it's gonna be a bit hard to get end of hostilities on Ikaria.
However, oh, that's not undepleted power. If
Yes.
Croge had top decked undepleted power, that would allow him to
Oh, he's gonna wait.
combust and
Yes.
into hostilities in the same turn, which looks like it's going to be his plan anyway. Just waiting one more turn to be able to actually do it. I like this plan.
I don't think he has any other plan, to be honest, for with this kind of hand.
So Dr. Pringles is going to slay the 2-1
Yeah.
and block out its Entomb trigger because of that Stone Cudgel, which goes on to Ikaria. That is also very relevant because that
Yes.
means that Dr. Pringles is going to have a larger Ikaria than Croge is going to, even though Croge will have 2 Ikarias next turn.
Not the
Hey, there's the
draw you
undepleted
wanna see.
power.
Yeah. That's a bit too late. So Combust Combust actually feeds into the
Oh,
maiden.
if I were Croge, I would have sacrificed the normal Grenadin over the Grenadin drone there, but it shouldn't matter too much. Since these 2 Ikarias together pretty much stonewall the bigger Ikaria.
I think the correct place to put the 2-2 on the 2-4 and to attack with it.
Yeah, since then Statuary Maiden would have to get double blocked
Yes.
to die, and that would mean both of Croge's Ikarias die and become premium cudgels. Huh. Look at this, I can... Oh, that's an
What
odd
is
little
it?
spectator thing. I can click the Statuary Maiden and Eternal tells me that my unit's already attacked this turn. Remember,
Oh.
units attack together. I'm not playing, though.
It's telling you're spectating him. It's normal. Okay, so you get a trigger out of the Ikaria, which is nice. You get to have more chump blockers. Still feeding into 17, 18, but it doesn't do much. Gotta
Well, the
block
thing
this
is,
one.
Croge is going to have to be double blocking and chump blocking both of these units every turn, otherwise
Yes.
he's going to die. And
Ooh.
oh,
This
Jack,
is amazing.
that could help. Yeah, but he needs tribute, right?
Well, it's still as deadly, so it blocks the 17 at 18, but you can... Trying to attack with the 2-1 is pretty much telling your opponent that you've got a...
Yeah. Attacking with the 2-1 is suicidal because Dr. Pringles just wouldn't block.
Yeah.
So here's the Jack, and there's
Rizan.
Rizan. Rizan could kill the Spark Hatcher or put
Killing
Croge
the
to
Spark Catcher is the right solution, I think.
2. And yes, I definitely feel that killing the Spark Hatcher is correct here
Technically,
because
you can go for face and hope for a torch, but
tossing a Stone Cudgel onto Rizan will mean that Ikaria has to chump block it in the future.
yes.
But she's already chump blocking now, so that shouldn't matter. And it looks like Dr. Pringles, barring a miracle draw from Croge here, is probably just about to take the match.
More cudgels. Ooh, Kenna. That
I
was a
mean,
nice draw.
Kenna is a nice draw, but
It doesn't do enough, but it's a nice draw.
yeah, that's not going to be enough to save Croge. I'm not sure if there was anything even in Croge's deck that would have been enough to save him.
Yeah.
So here we see Croge conceding after hitting the Rajan with Kenna, and there we go.
So 2-0 for Pringles.
Yeah, congratulations
Yeah,
to
no.
Dr. Pringles for that quick 2-0. That's going to net him yet another point beyond the points that he got
For
for entering
participating,
the
yeah.
tournament. Yes.
Okay, so give us a
I
sec,
suspect we
guys.
should be able to find a
Yes,
backup match
that's
because
it.
that probably was not the last game of the round.
I'm gonna try to find the match. Hmm. I know that Bassoon is currently playing, so... Well, he was. Ah, Bassoon is finished, okay. Bassoon and Timbro have finished.
Wonderful. That's exactly what we need. Except it doesn't quite show the bracket. Or does it? Or did it just change?
Yes, give me a sec, I'm trying to check it out. It doesn't show the brackets, no. What are we gonna do?
You know, if Captain Teambro versus Nettie is still going on, it would be interesting to maybe dive into that.
Captain Timbro isn't in game right now.
Lame.
I think it might have been the last, because the points have been attributed, so it might have been the last game of the round, actually.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
No, it doesn't seem like the points for Nettie versus Captain Teambro
But they're
have
not
gone
in
out yet.
game.
Not in game though. You're right.
Okay, let me check just. We've got. Okay. We've got Bassoon who lost his match, Houdini lost his match, Mulligan won, Cross won. Cross is playing Combre Aggro, Mulligan is playing Armory. Oh, Armory, okay.
Prometheus versus Houdini. Maybe that's still going on.
Let's check it out. Yes, you're right. I'm diving into Houdini's side.
Alright, I will see if I can get Prometheus onto my friends list because it looks like Prometheus is on Charge Rod.
So you want him on your friend list because he's playing Charge Rod. Ooh, Divining Rod then. Okay, so...
There it is.
Rizan not being... Oh, Rizan not having lifesteal, so he's not being picked up by the Divining Rod, but we see an Icaria being picked up. Probably the whole thing is going through, and Houdini is hoping to find a an undepleted power so that he can play Enforcer and Slay, but he does not find it. So we're gonna see Crest plus Enforcer probably. Probably, yeah. Doesn't know that Prometheus has a torch in hand. So let me just Prometheus. Well, technically, we don't know, and Houdini.
Prometheus does have access to the answer the call right there, which could possibly result in a whole bunch of stuff showing up, but however, if the Icaria can get in and the torch can hit, which currently does not look like it's going to be the case due to that Valkyrie Enforcer,
well, no,
that would have been lethal.
I think Houdini is still in a terrible position because you've got a torch on the Enforcer. You attack with everything. Okay, chooses to play instead of.
Yeah, you go for the answer the call here from Prometheus side of things. Hit another Icaria, and
I don't know.
it doesn't look like that Icaria winds up picking up a Divining Rod, but that's still two Ikarias attacking in, and one of them has to be jump blocked, and the other one
That's very
has to just
conservative, to be honest.
take it. No,
You
I
could just
agree with this line.
You're at 33, just attack with everything, and you've got the torch in hand. Not everything can be blocked anyway. Like, an Ikaya is bound to go through, and he's not going to put his Mali or his Fizz Caller into the 6-6 like by themselves, so the 3-3 is going to go through as well, and you had lethal, I think.
I don't think it matters because
No,
I
no,
think
it doesn't,
Houdini
but...
is going to die anyway because Prometheus has lethal from that torch.
Yes. Or, you know, from the Ikayas that are still airbound.
Yeah, that too. And it sounds like that means that the match is now 1-1, so we're going to get to
1-1.
dive into game 3 of this
Perfect.
match.
So what do you think of Charge Rod? Like, what's your opinion of it?
I love Charge Rod.
Yeah, but
It's a
you
very
love it
high
because
rolly
it's-
deck.
Yeah, there you go.
But
Because it's junky,
it's-
or
I don't think it's very janky. As long as your opponents are not playing super aggressive rushdown aggro, there's a very high chance that you will be able to get to the point where you're able to do your things, especially due to Bullet Shaper now existing.
yes, Bullet Shipper is a great addition to the deck, but you don't have a problem with the fact that you can just like play your 6-cost card and it doesn't do anything.
It always does something.
No.
I mean,
You can
there
whiff it.
is technically a chance that you can whiff off of
Yes.
Answer the Call, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't happen often enough for you to really mind.
Doesn't it? I'll
Doesn't for
trust
me.
you. I'll trust you on this one, but it certainly happened to my opponents like many times. Ooh, Annihilate.
Here's the thing. Charge Rod is strong enough that it frequently draws bans in Conquest formats.
There you go. Yes, but nobody likes to play against a high roll deck like that. Like you can get destroyed because the guy got 3 Ikayas because he got like Ikaya Divining Rod on it and he drew his 2 other Ikayas. Nobody likes to play against this because you can't predict what you can do against it. There isn't one way to actually answer the call because you can't interact with the top of his deck. You can't do anything, and the guy can have a great draw from it. But is it good? I'm not certain.
I think it's good enough.
Probably. Probably that you're right because I haven't played it. I should at some point craft 1 or 2 Enter the Call and just check it out. But I'm almost certain I'm not gonna like the card. And no primal
Maybe you won't,
influence
but
from
I think it
Houdini.
is absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful.
I can trust you on that. Yes, Vampus has been trying to get me to try it for like a month now. I don't know. No primal influence is terrible for Houdini. A full hand that he can't play.
And Prometheus gets to answer the call right now.
Plus Privilege of Frank, which is beautiful.
Yes, that's a wonderful one of the various combos in here. It looks like he's taking his time, which probably means he hit something.
This is disgusting. So 15 to 17. Oh no. Sorry, that's game. I am a bit surprised that we saw a nerf to various combo cards in Eternal's lifetime, and we don't see one for this. I'm
Look,
fine
you're
with it.
already
I am
you're
fine with
already
it.
saying that it needs a nerf.
No, not at all. Not at all. You don't get it. I am not saying that
Okay.
at all. I am saying I am surprised that it escaped the nerf.
Well, I'm glad that it is still alive.
Yeah, I'm glad that we've got like 1 or 2 combo decks that are working out. But I wonder why this one is escaping the nerf hammer. What makes this one
Don't
different?
tell Direwolf to nerf it. It's
No, I don't want it nerfed. I don't think I have a negative win rate. Negative. I don't think I have a less than 50% win rate against it. It's not my problem. It's not that it's too strong. It's that it's weird that it's been ignored when other things less combo-y in a way weren't. And I am not
it's
bitter
fun
about
though.
Vara. It is fun. It is very fun, and I'm glad it exists. But I'm surprised. I mean, seriously, I am fine with Prometheus hitting Izikaya and finishing the game on like 5 power because you got all of that. Because I seriously think that you whiff Answer the Call more than you think, and like, it's normal that you get something back from the fact that you actually it can actually fail that many times. But I'm weirded out that this didn't get nerfed. It's nice, but it's weird.
But I mean, who are we really to be questioning Direwolf Digital's balanced decisions?
Oh, sure.
Instead, I think we should be
I mean, they do
shouting
what they
out
want.
our sponsorships
Oh,
between
yes.
with Inked Gaming and Matcherino, and then preparing for our next round.
Yeah, preparing for the next round is nice, but I need to know who is spectating.
Well, the next round isn't necessarily ready yet, so we're going to probably take a quick break.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back in a few minutes, guys. Croge and Duncan. Yes, we're gonna go. So we didn't bring you again the deck list. That's because we really can't get him. But yeah, Bassoon is playing a first flame deck. Which looks great. Yes. Let me leave the studio mode and we are good to go. And as you can see, the overlay is back. I finally found it again. So we're good to go. So we're gonna tell them that they can leave the move. Go, go, go. Okay, so quite a decent hand. Look at this cute doorbot! Look at him! He's adorable! Aww. He's so cute. Yes, definitely. He's beautiful. Yes, you can totally sub for free with Twitch Prime. It's nice, and you got 32 packs from DWD, so there's really no reason to at least try the 3 months and then do whatever you want. But really, it's a sweet deal. So Whetstone, when you play a relic weapon, it gets +1 attack. I don't think it's a card we see that often, is it? Yes. Then again, you're playing Arshul, so you've got some outs, but you're playing Maiden as well, and you were saying that it mattered in the previous matchup. It might matter in this one as well. So we see one of the things that we can see is a Maiden getting dropped and Bassoon not being able to kill it, and an Arshul being played, and that's a lot of weapons. Yeah, he's I was told that she looks different with the. Yes. I wonder. Yes. I wonder if she plays differently if you put name taker on her, because I think that's a weapon. That does mean, yeah, the. That does mean you can't attack anymore into Maiden with the torch. Oh, okay, you can. Or whatever. What do I know? He's gonna play Kenna for the tribute. But that's two cudgels that you're giving your opponent. Is it Kenna or is yeah. Yeah. This is incredibly expensive. He's gonna torch, he's just gonna torch. But you wanna keep the Kenna open for a potential Ikaria for there she gets slayed, but yeah, but you wanna keep her open. I think it's way too expensive to kill her the maiden. Yeah, they transformed into cudgels indeed. So I think he's at... Give me a sec, I'm gonna check. Yeah, it would make zero grenadines. You can see that, right? Because, yeah, it's not hidden. I don't think it's hidden. Tell me if it is. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it could be torch, could be, yes. Yeah, even the granite waste on spawning a grenadine is relevant because Mulligan doesn't have any arsenal in his hand. And it's folder for the gear cruncher afterwards. Ooh, 770 Kaya. So that's a 9-9? Yes, 9-9. It can't be... It can't be permafrosted, so there won't be anything to pop the edges. But if you attack with the two... Ooh, wait. Give me a sec. I'm gonna check the markets real quick. Flamestalker and First Flame are obviously great. I think you go for Flamestalker. Yes. I think you can play the Flamestalker if you get it. So wait, is there... Oh, you can pick Mullet and Nakova. I'm stupid. Then next turn you've got lethal. What? I would go for Flamestalker, but yeah. Oh, Conde. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Rude, you wanted to steal the spotlight.
No, it wasn't me. I'm sorry.
I'm back.
Sorry, guys.
I
You
promise
pause.
my commentary was very insightful.
Uh, okay, so Bassoon won this one. I must have sounded crazy actually. Uh,
Oh, there's several times where I've been screaming into the void. Well, the void was talking back to me, but no one could know that.
oh, come on. It wasn't that bad. I'm gonna put it around here.
You have a lot more gold than I do.
Do I?
Yeah, like 2 orders of magnitude more.
Oh, okay. Can you still draft? If you can, everything is
No,
okay. Oh, okay. You
I
can't.
mean, no.
Sorry. Bassoon is back into the game, so let's
Yeah,
go.
the players are diving right back in because that is one of the benefits of having this format.
Yes. So Bassoon took the first one, and this is probably gonna be a mulligan from Bassoon. This is slow and you don't have enough power to make it work. How is Mulligan's hand?
Mulligan's hand is
Yeah.
something that you can definitely consider keeping, but also consider mulliganing.
I can see a
Because,
Rakanova
like, that
present. That's
Icaria is
it.
going to have a long time before she can show up, but you can still have your turn 2 Rakano Artisan off of that Seek power, and possibly a turn 3 Caranton Merchant if there's anything out of the market worth grabbing at this point.
Okay.
And here we see that Mulligan does choose to keep that hand. On Bassoon's side of things, it looks like there's going to be a fairly early merchant for combustion cell because that seems to be the core tenet of these Kennedin decks.
Yes. It shows. It shows to put the grenadines on the board, probably for a block. Instead of playing the Crest of Fury, which is interesting to me. Is he gonna stand back
Uh,
the permafrost? Yes.
we can see that Bassoon Buffoon is not looking to block with those Grenadine, at least not yet, and he even attacked into the 2-1 Rakano Artisan because he knew that his 3-3 Ixton Merchant would be more than happy to block that
Yeah.
Artisan.
So you got an end of
Now,
the hostilities on top, but
now once again, that Statuary Maiden is going to be a problem.
I mean, he sent away the permafrost, so
Permafrost doesn't even really deal with it
oh,
because
it's
the
just
secondary
does.
effect of no
Yes.
entomb and revenge and get cudgels when your opponent's stuff dies is so incredibly powerful.
It
Are
removes the
you
blocker.
smacking your microphone?
No, I'm not. No, I'm seriously not. So if you're hearing me smacking my microphone, it's not normal.
I think the stream's going to hear some pops at least.
No.
Unlucky. So now Mulligan is diving into the market and grabbing Devastating Setback. There's
Yeah.
one of those cards that's going to wind up working out quite well against Grenadine. I mean, especially if Bassoon Buffoon decides to play a assembly line
Assembly
here.
line, yes. But he goes for either a 2 assembly or end of hostilities.
End
on
of,
the Maiden.
end of hostilities on Statuary Maiden. I actually very much like this plan, since once again this is open deckless, which means the players know what the other players are running and like what's in their market. So
Huh.
seeing a Devastating Setback show up, kind of unsurprising, and having those two Statuary Maidens in play means that Mulligan is not going to Devastating Setback the board and instead Devastating Setback an assembly line out of Bassoon Buffoon's hand. I
Which
suspect
makes
he was looking
sense.
for something better than an assembly line, but there was nothing better there to get.
So we're gonna see the Ikaria getting dropped on the board. And once
That
again,
we
no
are.
real answer.
I think there is a very real answer in that Kenna.
He's at 5. There's no real answer for now.
He has
Oh,
combustion cell.
Sorry. You're right. Yeah.
And Kenna has arrived. She sends into the
Oh, this is
hostilities back to
beautiful.
Bassoon Buffoon's hand,
So
kills
we
Ikaria,
see
and gives Bassoon Buffoon a
all this cheating.
shiny
Ooh,
cudgel.
Slay is a great pick here.
Yes, otherwise Bassoon Buffoon would be able to start
Yeah.
looping
The
with the end of
Kennas, yes.
hostilities and Kennas.
Which would have been nice to see, not gonna lie, but this, yeah, this feels like the only out that Mulligan has. We're gonna see, huh. Problem is that the 2-4 on Bassoon's side is blocking Mulligan from doing anything. He's gonna have to wait for something else. He's gonna kill the 2-4 with the rune hammer, but you've got the torch on Bassoon's in Bassoon's hand.
Yes. Bassoon also has the cudgel
The
that he could
cudgel,
put onto
yes.
his
I mean, I would
his
get
own
rid of
Statuary Maiden.
the 5-2, but it's me.
His plan, however, is going to be more end of hostilities. Once
Yes.
again, let's make some additional Statuary Maidens. I like this plan. Because
It's
it
more
allows him
deadly
to
blockers, it's nice.
and it allows him to still have that torch up to deal with the rune hammer or something else maybe.
Sick power is going straight to the bottom. But again, doesn't seem to see his arch rules these days,
It's torch time!
I suppose.
Because those Statuary Maidens are pretty good at blocking those various units that Mulligan has in play.
They sure are.
Sure, it would all be trades, but I think those trades would absolutely be favoring Bassoon Buffoon here, and Mulligan
He's got
seems
a
to
hand,
agree
so
because he's not attacking.
yes.
So let's see what Mulligan gets from the market at this point. Wow, or Bassoon Buffoon rather. That's a cool combo that I hadn't even thought of before. The cudgels with the market. Because apparently we live in a world where a cudgel is worth just as much as Mullet and Nakova. And a whetstone is worth absolutely nothing. That was a terrible draw from Mulligan, and that's part of why I'm not sure if whetstone really
Yes.
has a place in these
I don't
armory
know if it's
decks.
sufficient. Like, I see him
Or,
loving it with Runhammer, and you kind of need it these days because, let's be honest, Runhammer doesn't kill much these days. But I don't think it's a good pick.
honestly, I'm not even sure that
So many
these.
cudgels. Ah, cudgels everywhere.
Yeah, that's quite a few cudgels.
I don't know if I don't know if Mulligan should be putting them on his units. I would probably wait for an Icaria.
There's the first flame, which still is not going to be able to show up for quite some time, especially as that Statuary Maiden remains in play for Mulligan.
Actually, no,
Sumbafoon's
but I'm
going for the
very.
all-out aggro plan with the Statuary Maidens,
Give me a sec.
because it's an interesting choice not even leaving one unit back to maybe block his opponent's Statuary Maiden, but I guess his plan is just to get as many units on the board to be able to
Is
attack
this
for
okay?
lethal as soon as possible. But that's going to make it a lot harder to attack for lethal because it's going to kill one of the Sumbafoon's units and result in Mulligan having more health. Audio balance.
Audio what?
Audio balance. It
Yeah,
sounds like
I was trying it. He's attacking with okay.
yes, the players are right now in an absolute race.
But without something with overwhelm, you're probably gonna lose a race against a grenadine deck, or flying.
Yeah, and the Grenadine deck's also the deck that's actually running a fair bit of flying as well. Sure, Mulligan could get an Akaria, but why is Buffoon still attacking with the Statuary Maidens? I mean, it
But he
does make
can block
sense
the two
that
others.
he wants to break the Sword of Akaria, but
No, I agree with the attacks. It's even if Mulligan attacks with two of his units again, well, you just block them and it's okay.
yeah, but like, Bassoon Buffon also really shouldn't want his Tumblebangs to be dying. With, well, there's still a Statuary Maiden.
Yeah, but
Okay, Mulligan just chooses not to attack because he's wary of his life total.
yeah, that makes sense to me. You should probably draw beforehand, though, or you're just gonna play the Molot and Nakova and win because it's 4.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the case.
Yes.
So, you're right, this is game.
Yes, completely forgot that the one on the left was a grenadine also. That's nice.
Boom.
Bassoon winning
Molten
again.
Nakova lethal.
Again.
That calls for an our prey calls, brother.
Okay, so there we are. 2-0 for. I'd give my arm for a dragon. Yes.
That is correct. That was a 2-0 in Bassoon Buffoon's favor, and I feel like that would be consistently how this matchup would go if it were repeated infinitely.
I'll trust you on that. I haven't played Canadian yet. I have opened 4 Kenas now, so I don't have any excuse. But I need to find a maybe Bassoon's deck is fine because you've got more than that going on. I really like his style of deck, but I don't know
I
if first
myself-
time is really necessary. But
I myself have not actually had an opportunity to play Canadian either, but I do feel that Armory just is not going to be favored in this matchup.
Armory, okay. What about Rakano midrange?
Maybe an actual Rakano midrange deck could do much better, but not the Armory list.
I don't know, maybe not, but I am a bit I am a bit I'm a bit curious about it. Do we have
Well,
anybody? Do we have anybody else
I'm
still
trying
in?
to figure that out right now.
Crouch is still playing and Houdini as well.
Yeah,
Are they playing each other?
they're playing each other.
Great, let's go.
Yes, I'll get Houdini, you get Croach.
Perfect. Okay, there's lots of static now, so I am going to suppress the gain and give me a sec, guys. I am. It's not easy when I can't record my own voice actually.
This is a complex board state that we dive into,
Okay, I think it should have less static.
and it
Oh
looks
yes.
like it's in Croach's favor.
Ah, yes. Wow, you got two Nostrixes,
A
and he boosted
whole lot
one
of granite.
with the
Yeah, I
second
like
one.
that. He used his Nostrix to mentor the other Nostrix. And that now 10-12 Nostrix is a lethal threat. And Houdini's Nostrix would just be chump blocking it. So we see Houdini's on the style of list that uses Nostrix to buff up a bunch of steadfast deputies
Yes.
created from Sheriff Marley. And Croge is currently up 1-0, which means
Sorry, guys.
that this attack right here could be ending the match.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Will be ending the match, even.
It's 5 net. Yes. So, do we
Quick
have
math.
any idea of how Mulligan, not Mulligan, how Dini and Coach are in the match?
Yeah, that was the match win for Croge.
Okay, Croge winning this.
2-0,
Perfect.
even.
So Canadian doing very much okay for now.
Certainly.
I want to try it now. I need to find the right deck. I have tried Kenna in an Elysian mid-range deck to recycle, crystallize or scouting party, and it actually worked quite okay because you don't have um, great ways to finish a game if you don't have decrystallize, so you can use it multiple times. So it's nice, but I feel like
You know what other deck is doing really
Canadian
well
is
right now?
nice. Ooh, is it Charge Rod?
It's Charge Rod.
Come on.
I suspect that our next match is going to be Charge Rod versus Canadians.
Well, I would like that actually. I want to see that. I
Yeah.
said beforehand that I believe that Charge Rod has the advantage here, but I might be wrong. So let's see.
Well, it is still going to require us to take a short break
Yes,
and be
let's take
back
a
for
break.
round 3. If you want to
We'll
see, hopefully, Charge Rod versus Canadians, stay tuned for that round 3.
we'll be
See you
right
soon.
back. And welcome back, guys. We should be
Hello.
you should be seeing the deck list now. Look at us.
Yes, you should.
And we're gonna be able to let you watch a charge rod deck against a Canadian deck, which to
Yes.
me is
Now,
very
something
exciting.
something
Yes.
very interesting about Prometheus's Charge Rod deck is that it is running those Rajans. Now, that is not something you would normally see in a Charge Rod deck. Usually, Heart of Vault would probably be in that
Hmm.
slot, but Prometheus is sort of going on this. I mean, it's still
Lifesteal.
focused on Charge Rod, but it could also be Lifesteal or Flying, using
Yes.
those Winchest Merchants and Rajans.
So the
And
thing
it's
to note is that if you don't have lifesteal enabled on Rizan, it's not going to work.
right. I It's definitely a different take on Charge Rod than I've seen in the past, but it's obviously been working well for Prometheus. And over on Bassoon Buffoon's side of things, there's that Kennedin's deck that we saw last match. So I think players are ready, so how about we dive on in?
Let's go. Okay, so bassoon. You're taking Prometheus, right? Cygnus?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's dive right in. So this is
So Prometheus kept this hand, and Bassoon Buffoon may have. I'm
bassoon.
not entirely sure. But it means that Prometheus is going to have to spend quite a bit of time to be able to actually go off here. I mean, Diogo wearing a Divining Rod is a possibility, but that's still going to be several turns out. Over on Bassoon Buffoon's side of things, we see various different options to have a turn 3 play. Let's see which one he decides to go for. None of them. Oh, that means that he's going to use Wisdom at the end of Prometheus's turn. And wow, Prometheus got the
Having the
perfect
perfect
top deck
hand.
right there in that Bullet Shaper. Even then, though, he won't be able to use the Bullet Shaper to play a Divining Rod this next turn. At least, shouldn't be doing that because Divining Rod on a Bullet Shaper is
Yeah, it doesn't do much.
not exactly where you're supposed to be. But he can play Diogo
Yeah, he's
this
clearly
next
gonna
turn,
play
and
Kyogo.
there's not really any way for Bassoon Buffoon to kill the Diogo right now.
There's
I
a
mean, he could
permafrost.
permafrost it, but it's possible that Prometheus still wants to play the
The
Divining Rod
dividing rod
onto the
and it?
Diogo.
Yeah, maybe.
And here's Diogo.
Yoga is a card that I wish we saw more of because I find it very tasty. I am I am tinkering with the idea of a Praxis charge list, with the Magus of
Oh yeah,
Celerity or something, the one that gives a charge in Inspire.
right.
And I wish we could see that
Yeah, I mean, why would you need that with Diogo?
because it gives double damage to your deck, and you want your deck to have charge afterwards.
Diogo gives charge as well.
What? It gives charge?
Yes, that's part of the strategy of Prometheus's deck here. If he
Oh, I don't know the card.
uses Diogo's ultimate,
Ooh, nice.
everything in his deck, including those
Look at
Bullet
this.
Shapers, Winch, and
Look at
Rizans also
this.
pick up charge.
Uh,
And here we see that Divining Rod hitting a Caleb and another Diogo. And of course, Caleb then playing a weapon on each of Prometheus's units.
wait,
So now all
what
of
did
his
the
units are
last
pretty
one
scary.
get that you don't want to attack with him?
It got Long Barrel. There's no reason not to attack with the Diogo there unless you're worried about something scary showing up from Bassoon Buffoon. Perhaps a clone effect. Oh, yes, that's what you're worried about. You're worried about Bassoon Buffoon in hostilities
The Caleb?
to double copy Caleb. I
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's a
that could be
blowout. Yeah,
scary.
yeah, yeah.
It's not going to happen this turn though, because Basumba is only going to have these 3 remaining power to play another assembly line, and that's mostly going to be chump blockers. Once again, Prometheus attacks with all units, which is definitely the right
So
play
it
here.
goes to 13 to 1, so it takes 13, so
And that's game, because
he has
Prometheus
the
also has the
torch, yeah.
torch. Charge Rod just doing Charge Rod things.
Beautiful. So that's 1-0 for Prometheus. Hmm. For now, it's
Exciting.
playing pretty much how I thought it would, because Charge Rod seems weirdly enough more steady than Canadian. At least it does something starting turn like 5 already, and well,
And
you have to wait.
even if the Canadians deck does wind up committing a bunch of units, Charge Rod also runs Harsh Rules.
Yes, that's it. There we go, back into the game.
I bet you like Harsh Rule because it's Roland's big act.
Oh, I love Ashwell. It's one of my favorite cards. It's not because it's Roland's big hack. It's more like it's it's a meta-defining card. It wraps
I mean,
the
that it
meta.
certainly is.
It's interesting
Control
to
would be
me.
a lot harder to play without Harsh Rule.
Yes.
But sometimes there are non-justice control decks anyway.
Well, I am playing the TPS. That's true. But I don't know. Justice feels you always find a bold state where you're like, huh. I wish I had a reset button. So you kind of want
Right.
to have Ashwell.
Yeah, people are deciding they want those reset buttons even in decks that seem very mid-range.
Well, it's more like Charger wants the reset button because it doesn't do anything before 5. So
Well,
if you
yeah.
find
Yeah,
Ashwell,
I'm not talking Charge Rod. It makes
oh
perfect sense.
yes,
And Charge Rod has been in Charge Rod since forever, but
in mid-range,
various, like,
like what?
Rakano mid-range decks and
Reckoner
stuff have
mid-range is different.
now.
I hesitate to call it mid-range, and people were like, yeah, but still, you're playing Rizan, you're playing Amelie and everything. I was like, yeah, but that's a more control-ish version of Reckoner mid-range, I think. You want to delay the moment you're playing your Icaria and just kill your opponent's stuff, and then you put her on the board, and there isn't anything between the opponent's face and your Icaria anymore.
Oh, I like it. We see
Yes, we
Prometheus
see
grab
the
Privilege
privilege.
of Rank out of the
That makes
market
sense.
because that means that he'll be able to sacrifice the or discard that Privilege of Rank to Bullet Shaper in the coming turns and play an Akari off of it.
Yeah, if it doesn't die, the bullet shaper, yes. And anyway, it's got all the power that you need. You need to find one more fire influence for Icaria, but you've got a bit of time till then. But you're gonna be able
You
to play
don't
your
even need to
reason.
find an additional fire influence. Between Bullet Shaper and
Oh, bullet shaper,
Crest
you're
of Glory,
right.
that's all the influence he needs.
That you need. Then yeah, it's perfect. It gives you the influence, and well, anyway, you got it.
He had it even before that Fire
Yes.
Sigil, so he's probably disappointed about the Fire Sigil being the draw here, but I think it'll work out either way. Ooh,
Playing that to
interesting
play the
choice.
Diogo. Yeah, I like
Yes, he
it.
plays the Diogo off this, but I guess that means that he'll be able to Rizan next turn and Ikaria following that up. He has a good curve either way.
It's gonna be tempting for Bassoon to play the canal to kill the Rizan.
Definitely tempting. But doing that would result in Ikaria being able to stick around.
Yes. The first
Bassoon
main part of
Buffoon's
the
formulating
Bassoon's deck
blocks.
isn't working well. Yes?
That way he's able to kill the Diogo so that Prometheus can't follow up with a turn 8 Diogo ultimate, since that would be pretty scary.
You see an end of hostilities on top of Bassoon's deck. I would probably play that for the warp and for and for the Rizan.
Yep.
You kill 2 of his units.
And those
There you
Razans
go.
also have lifesteal. That's
Yes.
the end of the hostilities seems to be almost the biggest incentive to be playing this Kennedin's deck.
Oh, end of hostilities is great. Well, it's the ability to copy your opponent's cards that make it so amazing.
Right.
You're
And
winning
now
well.
all the
I've got the
Razans are
same winning
gone.
condition. And so now you've
And
got the Canadian, the Kenna still open for the Icaria. Do you? Yeah, you probably attack with both. And do you? Yeah, okay. Do you commit the Gear Cruncher
play
in
Gear Cruncher here.
the board? Yes.
And here's a lot of Grenadin.
Ooh, Answer the Call. That's tempting as well.
Definitely very tempting, but the guaranteed play of the Akari here seems very reasonable, especially since Prometheus doesn't know that Bassoon Buffoon will
That's
be
a
able to follow
Kenna,
up
yeah.
with a Kenna that's going to get cloned
So you
in the future.
Okay. Sacrifice it like that. You get back the end of hostilities.
Kill Ikaria,
And
attack with
Prometheus
everything.
has to be careful because Answer the Call, if he takes something without an Aegis, you can see an end of hostility on a Caleb or something. So that would be
Yeah, end of
devastating.
hostilities on a Caleb here would be pretty scary,
Ooh,
but
Whirling Duo.
Whirling Duo with a Divining Rod. Let's see what the Rod gets. Miss, 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 miss. Now, Rod missing does frequently
Well,
happen,
it's
but it's
an
still
11-11
an
for
11-11
6.
life stealer.
Yes.
That gets to attack in right now, putting Bassoon down to 14 and bringing Prometheus back up to 29.
Yeah, but that's okay. There you go. You end of hostilities,
To
whatever the
copy
name,
the
duo.
Whirling
That's it.
Duo. Make 2 more
And
8/8s,
you can
attack with
permafrost
everything
him.
for lethal. Or
Lethal?
is that lethal?
I don't think so. But oh yes, it is. Okay.
Yes, it is.
The 3/4 didn't attack. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, that's amazing. So there we go.
Well done,
I mean-
Bassoon.
Yeah, I mean that was the risk with playing the Icaria before playing the Answer the Call, I think. And the one thing that we saw that we didn't mention, but Prometheus crested before Answer the Call, and that's pretty much always the right thing to do, in my opinion. And that's not something
Right.
that you see from like when you play Cull the deck, which goes and seek for something in your deck. You crest afterwards, but you crest before for Answer the Call.
And players are diving back in
Yes.
for game 3.
Let's go.
This is the penultimate game of what is not necessarily the full finals, because we will have another round, and Dr. Pringles is also currently lossless.
Wait.
But
correct.
It's still a very big game here between
I like the
Bassoon
fact that
and
we've got those
Prometheus.
archetypes. These are expensive, which is one of the reasons I think we don't see them as much as Icaria or whatever on the ladder, because like standard Icaria, because these are very expensive decks with new cards, so not everybody has them.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. Here's Bullet Shaper, and let's see, mathematically, using Bullet Shaper this next turn wouldn't do very much because it wouldn't allow him to play either of his big units. So he might wait until the turn after to use Bullet Shaper to discard Privilege of Rank.
I think you want to ensure
He's going to cast the Privilege of
you
Rank
your
here.
deck, you ensure that he's got you've got the influence to build your Icaria. It's fine. Condition sale. Merchant I've made like Merchant have made both relics and anti-relics cards very, very consistent.
Oh yes, it's merchants are incredibly powerful for combo centric decks,
Mm. Oh,
and we consistently see them
so
being used for
that's an Ikaria, I
stuff
believe.
like that. Yeah, now Prometheus is going to discard the charge to play the Icaria.
So you get to play Answer the Call next turn, which is nice.
Yep. Curve from Icaria into Answer the Call. An interesting, very interesting world here.
Ooh, and of hostilities on top. Huh, these are incredible rolls. So the only thing that you can get is either a merchant or a bullet shaper. Can you make use of the bullet shaper? I don't think so. It's just gonna draw the end of hostilities by hand. Send back. Ooh, not sending back a power. So hoping to find a Kenna?
Hoping for a Kenna or to be able to maybe end of hostilities, something that Bassoon Buffoon gets here, but another
Yeah.
Icaria isn't going to be that something. Ooh, picks up 2 Divining Rods? Okay, this is gotta be game, isn't it? Yep, there's
Yes, that's
Uzan
gay.
and 2.
That's 21, unless I'm mistaken. Oh no, that's 19. I'm sorry.
Caleb's here though to
Yeah, that's
to put
okay.
weapons on those. Wow. See, this is Charge Rod doing Charge Rod things. That's game, set, and match. With
Yeah,
Charge Rodding, and Bassoon Buffoon losing.
it's quite impressive, and a bit scary. I've got to admit. I guess it's at 6
Definitely
power.
can be frightening. But man, is it a lot of fun when you're the one playing the Charge Rod
Yeah,
deck.
yeah, I can see that. You're enjoying it for Prometheus.
Oh, absolutely. So much so that my voice is cracking.
Oh,
And it looks like Dr. Pringles beat Cross or Captain Timbro 2-0 in his most recent match, which means that we're probably going to see Dr. Pringles versus Prometheus next round as the grand finals.
hey man. Hmm. Canadian is at least a pretty affordable deck. Well, I disagree. It's got
And it
Kenna
seems
and Gear Cruncher.
just about everybody
Finished,
is finished. Houdini versus Janmaken. Janmaken might still be going on.
I am checking it out.
I'll see if I can grab Janmaken as a friend.
That's who against who?
Houdini
Houdini, that's
versus
it.
Janmaken.
Okay, I got it. Let's go. Got a Fist Collar on the board.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm just
and that
unhyping.
Feast Color is currently drawing 2 cards. And Janmaken has a lot of health, so over time that Feast Color could wind up drawing a lot of cards.
Mercy isn't really my strong suit.
You can put the Nostrix on the board. So you're probably gonna go for that.
I imagine Houdini doesn't even necessarily need to play the Nostrix yet, and could instead start using Sheriff Marley to make a bunch of deputies to pick up the effects from
I
that
don't know.
Nostrix.
That's very slow to me.
I mean, it kind of is, but also Jam Mechan's gonna have a very hard time closing out the game from here because he's on classic Huru Geomar Blitz.
Yes. I mean, if you were to create the 1/1s, you have to keep them in your hand. Like, I don't know. It's not great. Play it on the 9/9, and what is your opponent gonna do? Like, draw 2 kill spells? Meh.
But being able to provide more pressure and also having
You've got a flyer.
a unit,
It's
yeah,
nice.
a flyer specifically.
Gonna see an enforcer now. He wants to
Okay,
play
it
the
sounds
9/9.
like Jam Mackin is currently 1-0 up
Oh, okay.
over Houdini, which
I'll
means
write
that
this
if
down.
Houdini does win this game, it will go to a third game.
Jamakan. Houdini is at 5. That's the only scary thing, but you've got to have something that gets through. So Nightfall is probably Jamakan's best bet right now.
Perhaps, but then again, only the Dusk Raiders are actually going to be providing Nightfall triggers. That's not going to be
Oh
enough.
yeah, but I don't think Jamakan can win this one.
It's looking more and more unlikely
You're the
as
only one who has
Houdini
access
plays
to his,
more and more
markets
units.
if he's got any. I don't think he does. He?
Gem Mackin has Gift Battle, Jump Kick, Savage Denial, Substitute, and Lightning Storm.
Yeah.
All
good
very
enough.
low cost cards in that market.
Giving flying instead of popping the Aegis? Yes.
That definitely makes sense. Killing Nostrix's flying, because that
Yes, but
means that Houdini has to deal with that Valkyrie
no, but
Enforcer
it's game
out
over.
of.
You've got
Oh yeah,
Hailstorms
you're right.
in your hand.
Math.
Yeah. That was still round 2, no? Maybe it was round 3 and I failed that.
We're currently in round 3.
Yes. Whoopsie doopsie. We promise tomorrow, guys, either I'll be producing only or casting only, but we're gonna get things set up because this was very short notice. Doesn't Houdini wants to? What's happening?
Players are taking their time, thinking probably Houdini was doing the math to make sure that this is lethal, which
I mean,
it
you can
will
have
be.
you can have a pump spell for the enforcer, but you gotta try it. Because if he uses the pump spell there, he can't use it to kill you. So
And this means we should be going to a game 3 between these two players.
okay, so that's 1-1. Let's put this. And Dini.
And players are already in.
Let's go.
So it looks Jamaican kept a hand with 2 Dusk Raider and a Geomar.
That's a nice hand from Houdini. You've got early interaction. You've got your sheriff melee set up. So that's nice.
There's Crownwatch Standard. That can be a very powerful spell, but it looks like Jamaican just wants to be able to commit more units to the board and have as much power as possible, and choosing not to play the standard. Or choosing not to hold to the standard and instead play it now. So we see Geomar show up, and no attacks here because that Valkyrie Enforcer stonewalls the Dusk Raiders.
2/2s, yeah.
And
We're gonna see
Houdini gets to play another Enforcer to
an
deal with
enforcer or
Geomar
slay.
or Slay, or he could perhaps gamble on, like, no,
Lightning
he goes
strike?
for
No.
Enforcer, yeah. Yeah, he could have gambled on Lightning Strike and also being
Nah.
able to scout this turn, and not scout, strategize.
Choosing to block makes sense because you've got the sheriffs that are going to block your opponent's creatures now. You're gonna get the influence you need through Sick Power to set up your Nostrix.
That is correct. And right now, Jim Mackin's looking like he's in a pretty tough spot because he doesn't really have any units to provide pressure and doesn't really have any spells to buff up those units.
Apparently the
Well,
Nightfall
Houdini is
isn't
going to
enough
be able to
to
commit
provide
additional
card
things
draw.
to the board each turn. So Jam Mackin decides that it's going to be worth it to spend both of those vanquishes to kill Sheriff Marley.
It's gonna be a bit
And
disappointed.
it does mean he does get to get in for 4 this turn, but wow, that was pretty expensive to
Yes.
kill one Sheriff Marley, and
The
there's going to be
second
another
one is,
Sheriff Marley this next turn.
It's coming, yes.
So now Houdini is once again taking his time to decide what to play here, and I do like playing that Sheriff Marley, even if it may not be the most power efficient play. Perhaps he's considering firing off a strategize before then, maybe seeing
Trying
if
to
he
find.
can
I don't know.
find something, or he's going to go with Slay on the still active Dusk Raider and strategize instead. Just
Ooh.
take some time because he knows that his deck is the one that thrives off of time.
Rindra's choice is probably going. What does Jamakin play that requires you Rindra's choice? Trying to check out the deck list on the other side.
Not a huge amount, I don't imagine. The thing is, it feels like Jamakin's deck is built around playing a bunch of spells in one turn.
Yeah, I don't think there
rather
was
than
anything that was killed by by Rindra's choice. So I think the correct play was to send it back. Might be.
Yeah.
So that's Gen of Merchant plus Rindra plus Lightning Strike.
Yeah, Lightning Strike here seems like a pretty decent way to clear the board.
Mercy isn't really my strong suit.
Look at that, still no units to Jemakin's name. He's gonna Gift of Battle to give Dusk Raider Berserk, attack with Dusk Raider, which means that he could Crown Watch Tactic the Dusk Raider to be
I'm really not a
hitting
fan of
for.
putting the Mali on the board here.
Yeah, I definitely, from Houdini's side of things, would have preferred killing off these Dusk Raiders because now Jamakin is going to get to put Houdini to 4. No,
We just lose the Sheriff Mali. Just taking 7.
yeah, still putting Houdini to 7.
So you still can do Merchant plus Lightning Strike.
Yeah,
Oh, now that the other guy is Reckless, you can put the Sheriff Mali on the board, but you get to 5.
well,
got your back.
Here's Merchant to go get.
What an animation on the top. The little weapons flying.
Yeah. The market animation is really cool. Oh, go get Nostrix. Okay. Just taking his time. There's
Ooh.
another Crown Watch tactic. That means that Houdini has to block here, elsewise he's dead.
Blocking the reckless one.
Oh, but now Houdini
That's
can, in
that's
response, play Lightning Strike.
Yes.
But he doesn't? What?
Whoopsie.
I'm confused.
No, that has to be I pressed continue and I shouldn't have or something because you play Lightning Strike there. That's why you play the merchant.
The Doorbot card back blinks.
Yes, it's adorable.
Why do robots even need to blink?
Who cares? It's pretty. They've got the right to be pretty as well. What happened from Onidini's side? It's gonna play Sheriff plus plus Lightning Strike, I guess, but meh. I am unconvinced. I think it's just a question of misplay.
Yeah, I mean, here's Coastal Battle Mage, which is now also a lethal threat, and so is Dusk Rider. As crazy as it sounds.
The problem is if you play the Nostrix, you tap you exhaust your Mali.
Correct. Which means you don't want to do that.
Yeah. So that has to be merchant or strategize plus plus lightning strike, but any pump spell.
I mean, you could do
or
all
any
three.
spell, actually. What?
And here's Nostrix.
Not
So,
doing anything. Okay.
Houdini's not going to
What is this?
use Nostrix's mentor ability. And here's Valkenforcer to put Nostrix back onto the ground. Which
So
means
you've got to
Houdini
keep strike
still
open
can,
now.
yeah, strike the Valkyrie Enforcer. But if Gemmakin draws
I feel like we
something
need
that
to know
can
what's
give
in the
Valkyrie
market.
Enforcer enough
Clan Mother
before
could be.
attacks,
I like going for Clan Mother in the market, but you might want to play Fiscaller and keep Lightning Strike open.
this
But seriously,
this
Rindra's
could
Jones shouldn't
end
be in his hand.
suddenly and poorly for Houdini.
Something got your back.
Here's Genev Merchant.
You can't send back anything else than choice, right? What? What's happening?
Houdini really likes that Renju's toys. Island's Choice here, however, is of course also very
That
good
saves
because it
him,
means
because
this.
Alien's choice is a nice pick, completely. But seriously, I don't get the Rindra's choice.
Yeah, I don't know.
So saddle up on the Enforcer, and now you get to. Huh? Do you get to?
Yeah, you saddle up on the Enforcer in response to the Lightning Strike, and Houdini has to
Yeah, I'm wondering if you get a window actually, because right now Alien's choice isn't working.
let those attacks revolve
Okay,
and
yes,
then play Island's Choice. Yes, he does have the opportunity to still do that. And now he kills both of Jamakin's units,
Yeah,
and
it's nice.
it's now going to be hard, if not impossible, for Jamakin to actually do those last 2 points of damage.
Does he have have all these Dusk Rider? His yeah.
Yeah, Dusk Riders are his only Nightfall
Yeah, and he's
units,
got
and
3 in the graveyard.
3 of them are already in the Void.
Why is Rindra? I need to seriously. There is something that must be missing from my deck list because I'm not seeing anything that Rindra's choice kills. And it doesn't
Let's see.
even stop a pump spell because they're all monocolor.
Something catch your eye.
I am lost.
Right. He finally gets rid of the Ranger's choice.
Yeah, looks like death. The only thing
And
that would
now-
have worked for Jamakan is finding an enforcer and Houdini not having anything flying, and that would have been lethal. But that's too late with Aelin.
Right, over the course of the next 2 turns, Houdini has lethal and Jamakan's just drawing more banners.
Yeah, you could draw them at some point.
And there we see Houdini taking the match. And that was the last match of this round, so fairly quickly we should be able to dive into the penultimate round 4. But we are going to take a short break
Yeah,
before
we're going
then.
to take a short break indeed. Let's go. Okay, guys.
So, Dr. Pringles versus.
Yeah, the guys are firing me, so the Rock is going to cast the last round for you, and I can focus on producing.
Oh, look at that. We
So
are indeed live now. So,
let's
yes,
go.
this
Go ahead,
last
guys.
round will be Dr. Pringles versus Prometheus.
Yep. So, and then
I still need the infos for the two players.
Get Prometheus.
Yeah, but the numbers. Give me a
Scroll
sec.
up in the chat.
got it. We're also not muted, so
Fuck that. I only have Dr. Pringles, so you're gonna have to
Oh,
work with
okay.
that. I can't add a friend. No. Huh. I can't remove a friend either. Ah, there you go. Okay, okay. Okay. Almost. I have too many friends. Oh, this is so annoying.
So, The Rock, how are you doing today?
Sorry, guys.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
are we muted or are we live?
No, you're
We are
live.
most definitely live.
Okay. I'm doing good. We'll see. Now that my internet's working, we have looks like Prometheus is on Charge Rod.
That is correct. It's a very interesting version of Charge Rod that's running Razans.
Yeah, this looks like the list that Kamado posted in his article, which explains
Yeah.
the title of their deck list for today of Kamado is the man.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks just it's minimizing the time. So like no Heart of the Vaults and just playing Razans instead. Winchester Merchant, you have plenty of flyers, so and Razan's just a really good unit on its own. Yeah, what is
Right.
Dr. Pringles on today?
Dr. Pringles is on Icaria Black.
Okay. 4 Annihilates, okay.
So it's a matchup between two different Bullet Shaper decks. Apparently, Prometheus used a crest to scout a torch to the top.
Okay, so we're in the game now, yep. So yeah. Prometheus has a little bit of a slow hand, it looks like, so we'll see if...
Well, there's a Bullet Shaper. But I mean, right now the only things he could really do with that are... Oh, I see what he can do. He can grab the Answer the Call from the market using the Winchester Merchant and play that. Though I guess that would wind up being pretty much in turn 6 anyway. However, over on Dr. Pringle's side of things, there's of course the torch to deal with Prometheus's Bullet Shaper. Just like Prometheus has a torch which could deal with Dr. Pringle's Bullet Shaper, but neither of them really get much value out of those Bullet Shapers. There's not much to grab, to cast with that extra power.
Not currently, but it's just such a scary potential that I think
Certainly.
he just needs to die. So,
Here's
yep,
the
Mr. Dr.
torch.
Pringles. Torch likely just going to play the Bullet Shaper's own with a crest.
Yep, but that Bullet Shaper will probably also die to a torch because Bullet Shapers are just so threatening.
Yep, we see Pringles keep Merchant on top. Probably going to switch out the Annihilate. And so Prometheus here, he could play as Merchant, but there's not. Does he really want to get rid of any of this power? If he gets rid of Diogo.
Yeah, that I understand that choice because that means that he'll be able to have a guaranteed turn 6 answer the call.
Yep.
Which is one of the big things that this deck wants to be doing.
Yep,
Now,
so
Dr. Pringles calling the deck.
a little more information, I think, before deciding what to use, if it's spot removal or the what to Merchant for.
Right. It is unfortunate that we don't get to see what his choices are here. spectating is decent, but still could definitely have some improvements like that.
So he took
And-
Statuary Maiden. So probably maybe just a relevant card in the top 3.
right. I mean, it still is fairly relevant in this matchup. There's frequently big things that can die to the removal spells.
Yeah, but most
Or-
of the units fly, so the Maiden's not going to block a lot, I don't think. So, but here we just see we're going to spin the wheel and answer the call.
And
We get a Razan. Okay, and it was our charge.
One
Oh, this
rod.
Divining Rod as well. So you get to mill these, answer the call cards first, and then hit the rod.
let's see. It looks like there wouldn't have been anything that the rod would have picked up even if
Nope.
Razan had charge. And an 8/7 flying threat is definitely scary, but Dr. Pringles has the removal spells to deal with it. Now the question is, would he want to commit the Herschel here, or go with one of the single target removal spells?
I think Slay here is fine. A Winchester Merchant's not going to beat you, really. So, and Harshal we might need for if Caleb does some shenanigans later on. So,
Yeah,
say
Caleb
Slay
certainly-
and then Merchant away the Cudgel, potentially.
Yeah, that's a very strong combo right there, being able to just throw the cudgels away for something else. So many ways to get extra cards in Eternal that just makes merchants so much stronger than they already are.
Yeah, I think that's been a big deal is finding ways to utilize the merchants without just giving up raw cards. So you see like Statuary Maidens giving Cudgels, Echo units, or even Jotun Hurlers with Fate, just getting extra cards so you're just actually getting card advantage and selection with the merchant.
Excuse me, it's pronounced Jotun. I looked it up
Oh, excuse me.
because it comes from the Nordic language.
I see. So yeah, Prometheus here, top decks Diogo. Likely just going to attack with both. Bottom's a Torch, and just has a Karya here waiting in the wings.
And Akaria is definitely a scary thing to be up in wings.
Yep.
That's the best place for her, as
Yeah, so-
flying is one of her many very powerful keywords,
Pringles cashes in the Annihilate just to get some value out of it.
which actually could turn out to be a mistake because that means he does not currently have a way to deal with that Akaria.
Well, Annihilate couldn't hit the Karya anyways.
But
Well, we
there's
see him-
another Akaria.
Yeah, we see Pringles getting his own Akaria.
And Prometheus has not drawn the 8th power he would need to be able to ultimate Diogo. But that is still something we might wind up seeing in the remainder of this match.
Potentially. But here I think Pringles just going to play Akaria and only attack with the Akaria, so...
And then, if you're Prometheus, you don't want to trade here, do you?
No, I don't think you're trading here. You're the aggressor still.
Yeah,
Especially when you have
since-
Whirling Duo in hand.
Yeah, you go down to 11, but Prometheus is already at 7.
Yep, and we see Caleb getting hit with the Akaria buffs. So...
Makes for a very big boy, but a big boy that can't be cast, and
Alright, Pringles taking the little bit risky line with no current answers to pop Akaria Aegis.
I mean, it's not the most risky thing because there's, of course, his own Akaria that still could block. And instead just wanting to get rid of that threat of the Diogo's ultimate. And look, his Akaria is now even bigger than Prometheus's. And
That's true. So,
also
but here he is,
threatening
yeah,
lethal, but wow, that
Prometheus
both
just getting
Whirling
his
Duo
War Cries
just-
immediately. So
incredible. So now
Yeah.
Dr. Pringles is going to trade with the stat maid.
but if Prometheus draws an 8th undepleted power, then we might see some fireworks.
That
Looks
is,
like Merchant away Heart or the Justice Sigil.
yeah, it's probably better to send away the Justice Sigil than the Cudgel at this point because putting the Cudgel on Ikaria will bring the clock of Ikaria hitting Prometheus' face down to 2 from 3.
Yep. So Prometheus probably needs to hit a power next turn, or his Akari's gonna have to chump block.
I mean, Prometheus could also hit another charger.
Yes, they do have several left, so
Yeah, or a rod, or answer the call. There's the charge rod deck always has outs. It's like crown roaches in that sense.
well, he hit the power out, so let's spin the Caleb wheel.
And we see a Winchester Merchant get scribed to the bottom.
So a
And-
backpack scout, something gave +1/+1, and duo got +3/+1.
That is correct. +3/+1 from a Ruination Sledge.
Okay.
And Dr. Pringles decides to just take it all.
Yep. And 4 answer the call.
Yeah, I think these. Well, it is definitely a high roll deck. Stone Scar aggro lists are also high roll decks. And
Yeah, just a different direction. But they just have a little more play, whereas this just answer the call, like casting a card is on turn 5 or turn 6. I guess turn 4 even with Bullet Shaper plus answer the call is a little too push potentially. We'll see down the road if any of these cards get changed, but I like answer the call as a card. I think it's just kind of fun and interesting, and
yeah,
maybe
I mean,
find more fair ways to play with it.
this is a Bullet Shaper mirror.
So some people point out this is kind of the theme of the current meta is doing things or cheaper than the cost. So a less easy example of just a 1-drop that just becomes a 10/10. Bullet Shaper, Answer the Rod decks trying to just cheat Akari's out as fast as possible. So it's kind of the name of the game right now, it feels like.
Yeah, that does seem to be the trend. I do think that merchants help out these decks' consistency a lot.
Well, for sure, the merchants have been huge for just consistency for decks. They're either built around certain things or just need multiples of cards.
And honestly, that's something that Eternal kind of needed with the 75 card deck size.
Yep, and just 4 max. But, I mean, you don't want the games to be too consistent, which I think some people have argued. But here we see Pringles just turn 3, cast Merchant for a power. Those is Akari away, I believe it was.
Yeah, that's something that's not going to be cast for quite some time.
Oh, man. Prometheus has the turn 3 Whirling Duo, which is just going to be answered by a hammer. And we'll
It's
see
hammer time.
what Prometheus wants to do this turn. He could Bullet Shaper plus Torch. He could just play Privilege of Rank.
I like Bullet Shaper plus Torch because discarding Privilege of Rank to Bullet Shaper is always a fun option, though it won't wind up happening because Dr. Pringles also has a Torch.
Yep. But at this point, it doesn't. The Privilege of Rank doesn't matter too much with the ramp since he's already at 4. But it would have let him cost the answer the call we saw he kept on top. So it'll be a turn delayed there. But here we see the Granite Waystones that got added to the deck recently, which I think, again, help with just extra cards for a merchant or just it's a red unit for Caleb. So
Yeah, do you feel playing the Granite in there to have something that could possibly pick up a weapon from Caleb is the correct play rather than maybe keeping it to throw into the market?
I think it's fine to play right now. I mean, Prometheus still has 4 power in hand, so he has plenty of things to get rid of to a merchant, I believe. And here he just sets him up for if answer the call hits a Caleb just to get a little extra value.
Right.
Looks like Pringles here probably gonna play Quarry as well. No, he chooses to hold it. Okay, maybe he doesn't know quite what he wants to get.
That's certainly possible. And
But Prometheus hits
Wow.
Ikaria plus Divining Rod. Milled a
Dang.
Whirling Duo, though, and another Ikaria, so... And he has a third in hand, so he can't hit too much scary things, but I think it's just a Razan. Mills a second Divining Rod, so... But just a huge tempo swing turn for Prometheus here, and Pringles doesn't have much answers. I mean,
Exactly. He doesn't even have the power to play Razan this turn.
yeah, I'm not sure why he chose to not quarry last turn.
Right. So he's going to Vanquish to break Ikaria's Aegis. And now here's another Ikaria. Which means that Dr. Pringles just concedes, and Prometheus wins the tournament with that win right there. Congratulations to Prometheus, who is now our invitational points leader.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Very good showing from the new Charge Rod deck, so we'll see how long that continues into other tournaments in the ladder play. I know the end of last season, a lot of people were jamming it. So we do still have several matches outstanding we can jump to.
Yes, but before we do that, I want to shout out Poetic Discord for this sub. Thank you, Poetic Discord. That was a
Nice, thank
Twitch
you.
Prime sub, which means you're also getting your loot for Eternal. Nice. And yeah, let's see what other outstanding matches there are. Probably all of the other matches are still outstanding.
So we'll take a brief break and find a match for everyone.
And you're alive.
Oh, wow. But Krog is on the Dark Kennedan, so he has things like Jack and Quarry. We'll see which one's better in the mirror, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the mirror is not as much what you splash for, but maybe.
No. It does give you more payoffs for tribute with Jack, and then End Hostility is just copying Jack's, but I feel like the mirror is also just kind of a little silly between End of Hostilities copying everything on the boards.
Yeah, copying your opponent's Kenna, getting you back into hostilities.
Which is what we see Krog did, where he copied one Kenna and got 2 cards back. So
Yep, into hostilities and madness, and he can now double killer to kill one Kenna, but then Bassoon Buffoon gets to. Oh man, this is a hilarious mirror.
Well, Bassoon does not have an enabler for tribute.
Oh, but Krog is going to be able to use enough spells to be able to kill both of the Kennas, which means that the combustion cell no longer counts as a tribute enabler, like you were saying.
Yep. Well, he drew a Spark Catcher. I think that... So that still leaves him enough, so...
Yeah, he'll also be able to follow up with a torch if he wants to be able to use a one Kenna to fully kill opponent's Kenna.
Seems likely what he'll do.
But he knows that Croge has at least one End of Hostilities in hand and the Madness.
And a madness. So it's not looking great for Bassoon. But this is the play he's just kind of forced to make, so.
Yeah, and this is a interesting recursive board state.
Interesting is one way to put it. Seems like a nightmare to slog through.
I mean, I find it hilarious.
So Bassoon could double torch one Kinna, killer the other, and killer a token since he knows that his Kinnas are likely to die.
However,
but here
he's going to torch face and use his killers on the Kennas. I like that.
Okay. So he might be trying to set up Maud and a Covert turn, and keeping that torch potentially lets him do that with a Grenadin and Combustion Cell. But
And soon,
Gorgazor's just going to
could
run out
be
of
able
sigils
to-
in his deck.
yeah, but soon Croge could be able to use 2 End of Hostilities in one turn. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to set up, so.
A torch on his opponent's Kenna so that it just dies trying to kill his Kenna. I like it. That means
Okay.
the second Kenna can still kill his Kenna, but that means each player has a remaining Kenna. And I think that may have been a mistake from Croge to not maybe even Madness the Grenadin or the Kenna there, because it is possible he could be pushing for near lethal if he did. Yeah. Why not just Madness the opponent's Kenna?
I'm not sure. I have not played this deck at all, or even know how the mirror would play out. So Bassoon here can. Okay, he's just gonna play assembly line to get more fodder.
And then use 1 or 2 of his combustion cells to then his 2 combustion cells to then play into the hostilities after attacking
Oh nope,
Nope.
Molinikova. Okay.
Markova, burning out.
Yeah, I mean he has a pretty solid
everything
threat
but
now.
the Kenna. Yeah, and Croge is at 3, which definitely
He
a
has
scary place
end
to be.
hostilities to get back a torch, so as long as there's a Kenna on the field somewhere.
Which it seems very likely to remain that way.
Yeah, so this was a very tight line from Bassoon.
Yeah, I think Croge misplayed. I think Croge could have won that last turn. Missed lethal. And that's going to result in Buffoon winning the match, as far as I can tell. Well, at least the game. We don't know if this is the match yet.
Yeah, we'll see how things go. So Croge popped the Aegis, the Madness. He has his
Oops.
Kenna now. Oh, well,
All is well. You're just seeing the wrong hand cam for a moment. I'm fixing it.
that's fine. I mean, I think Croge has end hostilities as well in their hand, so he's trying to figure out what to do this turn and what to
Croge
copy.
has 2 End of Hostilities in hand.
Yeah, so he can only cast 1. So he can kill this Molinikova. I guess the question is, I don't know if he has kept track of where Bassoon's end hostilities are. If he's cast all of them that he knew about, or if he knows that there's still one in hand. Because if he knows about the one in hand, there's not a way he can win. I don't think.
So
There's no life gain in the deck.
Croge is going for cloning the Kenna, which means they're now 9/10s. He does grab Combust and Seek Power, which I think
think
Oh,
he's one short of
That
lethal.
means he'll be one short of lethal because he can bring this Kenna who can attack up to a 13 power attacker, but that's not going to be enough.
I think that's what he's doing, though. So maybe, he either hopes that Bassoon doesn't have any hostilities, or just Bassoon doesn't see the line. So,
But I don't imagine either of those things being the case.
no, but Courage still doing his best effort to maybe steal a win here.
It sounds like Croge is currently up 1-0 in the match, which means we'll probably be seeing a third one from the start.
Okay.
Yeah, Croge is sitting here trying to do math, seeing that, yeah, that's not going to be lethal. Well, actually, it is lethal. It is.
He can combust the
he has to
Grenadin.
sacrifice a Kenadin to kill. He has to sacrifice a Kenna to kill
Kill the
Grenadin.
Grenadin.
Let's see if Croge sees the line.
Yeah, okay. He did not
he
see
did
it,
not see the
so...
line. That mistake is going to cost him the game.
Mm-hmm.
As Bassoon Buffoon now gets to tribute up.
That is a weird line to see, because Grenadins just seem like such an innocuous card, but... Miss
Grab
Lethal,
the
though.
torch and win.
Yep.
Hi, Phoenixton. We can hear you, though. Also, your mic is snapping and popping a lot.
Yep, so... Brief pause here before the third game. And... Cygnus, do you think the Shadow makes Krog favored in this match, or do you like just the straight, no-nonsense Skycrag version?
Honestly, I feel like I haven't seen enough Kenadins yet to really decide which is the better plan, but I do feel like I'm kind of leaning towards the Shadow version.
Okay.
Because it doesn't feel like First Flame or anything is really doing a huge amount for Bassoon
Yeah.
Buffoon in the matchup.
Yeah, I just saw the first one, and only 3 Kennas in this version. Most, I think, were
Yeah.
playing the full 4, so...
Well,
maybe
I mean, in this particular game, it doesn't matter a huge amount because you can just pick up your opponent's cannons.
That's true. But here we have him back in the game. Looks like Croge was on the play.
Both players are lacking in really anything to do anything. I mean, Croge has a Jack. And, Jack does play pretty well in the mirror, giving Voidbound to anything of your opponents that dies while he's around.
Yeah. Might not come up a ton, since you can just, NFSOs let you steal any unit, so... But Bassoon has the early board advantage, but they can get nullified pretty quickly with assembly lines and extend merchants, so...
Certainly.
Both players are going to have access to Combustion Cell, which is the best card in the deck, or the card you just have to have at least.
Right. So here's an interesting thought. Do you think we might ever actually see bad news from Jack?
Maybe. There's no silences in either deck, really, so bad news could happen, and it would probably not be good news for the opponent at that point.
Right.
Here we see Buffoon just trying to go dig through his deck as much as possible, find a better payoff than what his hand currently has.
There's the trade between the merchants because they've done their job.
Well, you just want to keep the board clear knowing combustion cells are looming, so...
Yeah.
Curious to see just Krog... Okay, Krog is still playing the Gear Cruncher. I wonder if Scrap Tank is better in that slot. Scrap Tank has less of a payoff, but you also have so many 6 and 7 drops that just having a lower cost unit might be better.
Right.
I'm not sure how much the gear crunchers mattered so far for either player in the tournament.
I don't know. But now Croge can use the combustion cell to play Jack whenever he feels like it. He's probably going to wait until there's something big to kill.
Yeah, at least get value so End of Hostilities doesn't totally destroy him.
Right.
And I think Bassoon's going to wait on this gear cruncher a little longer. So there's only been 2 Grenadins die, I believe. And Crow getting aggressive now, which I think is right. When you have so many more Grenadins and you just want to limit your opponent's ability to activate Tribute or just ramp with Combustion Cell.
Yep, but the one Grenadin in Bassoon Buffoon's hand thrives off of there being Grenadins in his void.
Yeah, the one payoff that Bassoon has, but he's still going to wait a little longer.
Yeah, he's...
See if he throws all of his units into these attackers now.
At this rate, he's going to need to draw something soon.
I mean, his Gear Cruncher is going to buy a lot of time, but he's going to be facing down a Jek soon. Here we see Bassoon card he's trying out today of Tumble Bang.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to actually be able to ramp into the first flame, but I've seen a lot of situations where it hasn't worked out that well. There's
Like
one
this
of the
one?
reasons. Another reason is that it's wound up been up against Statuary Maidens several times today as well.
Okay, yeah. Statuary Maidens, I mean, silence effects, just instant speed, or fast spells, so. But here, Bassoon, pretty much, his hand is forced to play this Gear Cruncher. Sand of Us doesn't do a whole lot.
So now, let's see.
You got 6 Grenades, but here, I mean, I think Jek is going to come down, or he could, I guess, combust instead to play around end hostilities.
His own Gear Cruncher. Yeah, I think that is going to be enough to heavily favor Croge in this matchup unless Bassoon Buffoon has a miracle draw off the top, because I don't think he does this turn.
So yeah, Croge does go with the combust because of end of hostilities, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Bassoon just gonna trade off his Grenadins while he can.
Keeping one back.
Yeah, we gotta enable a tribute, so
Right.
we'll see if Croge does not get aggressive with his Jek, which I think is correct. Because End of Hostilities does nothing right now, and Croge's just gonna A-space once again and play a Gear Cruncher, I would imagine.
Yeah,
For
and
probably a
that's
full board.
something Bassoon Buffoon will be able to copy. Wow, he doesn't even... Wow, that's...
I guess he wins the race on board.
Yeah, and
Croge's being very conservative.
Bassoon Buffoon has to block now, and Croge, this is
Wow.
the right play from Croge, because that means that Bassoon Buffoon has to spend his
He has to End of Hostilities a Grenadin.
hostilities here to make a 1-1. I mean, it's 2 1-1s, but that
Yes.
means that Croge now gets to play a Gear Cruncher Jack uncontested.
But yeah,
Wow.
Croge with a very interesting line. I mean, I guess he just read that Bassoon's hand didn't have a whole lot going on.
So it looks like he's going to go for the
Gear
Jack and
Cruncher,
kill the
I think.
Grenadin.
I mean, because End of Hostilities doesn't matter that much.
The plan of
But
keeping BB off of something to combust seems like the correct play, but
Yeah.
Buffoon does wind up drawing the Extant Merchant, and let's see what he goes and gets.
what could he get here? He could get Gear Cruncher again, which he probably needs to because Croge can just play Gear Cruncher and kill Ixton Merchant. He got the first flame. Oh, I guess he does have enough. No, okay.
No,
So
this is
the
match.
end for Bassoon.
This is game, set, and match, as the Gear Cruncher shows up with enough extra power to be able to use its ability to kill Extant Merchant.
Yeah, so a little bit of bad news for Bassoon there at the end. Just kind of decked
No,
into
actually, no bad news, because the infiltrate trigger doesn't even happen since
just
it
worse news.
begins as Bassoon dies.
Yes.
So that's an extra invitational point going to Croge. And pretty much the end of today's tournament, as far as I can tell.
I think that's it, yes.
Phew. Well, the points have been attributed, if I'm not mistaken, on Calgary's website. So you can check that out. And
Yes, that should be the end, guys. Sorry, The Rock, we didn't get you for too long.
That's alright. I enjoyed the casting in. Internet didn't want to cooperate with us today, so.
Yes, really quickly, we can now show the players who currently have invitational points and the.
Give me a
No,
sec.
that will go up after the event, I believe.
Okay, yeah, the participation invitational points haven't shown up yet. So beyond that, you can go to Caleria's website and see the points. They're all going to
Yes.
be +1 compared to what it currently shows due to those participation points. So Prometheus will be at 5 invitational points. Dr. Pringles and Mulligan both at 4. Bassoon Buffoon, Croge, and Houdini at 3. Or even, yeah. Yeah. And that means that, or maybe the numbers aren't quite exact, but we
It'll
do
be uploaded on the site when the event is over.
And this is the beginning of that search for those points to be able to be in the top 16 for the Invitational, which you guys can add to the prize pool for. We're currently $1.60 away from $100 in the prize pool, and you can add to the prize pool for free by either using our coupon code ECL August 18, which you can find to copy paste down below the stream or possibly in chat, and also by clicking the sponsor links over on the Match Arena page. You can use a Twitter account to follow some various Twitter pages and add a whole bunch of little bits of money to the prize pool. Get us over $100, and that money will go to invitational players. That could also be you. If you guys want to get invitational points, we should.
Yes. Yes, Cygnus. Have we lost you?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you should join our events, the Eternal Community League events.
Yes, don't hesitate,
Let's
guys.
bring up the events page
Yes.
to show you guys the options.
Yes, sir.
So this was the ECL Thursday Weekly, which is a European-focused tournament that anyone can play in, but the time zone is directed towards European players. Like, for me, it's 1:30 p.m. right now, and for a lot of people who have jobs and stuff, that would be a very inconvenient time. But
it's 10
For
p.m. for me, so
Europeans,
it's better. Yes, so as you can see with my sleek editing, this starts at 2 p.m. EDT and not 1. The rest is the casual Friday that we're gonna have tomorrow, and we should have a better production side for this one. I swear.
the Casual Friday is TGP's first tournament, and really what got us up here doing all of this. And we're going to keep to the spirit of the Casual Friday in that you will not gain points for wins, you will gain participation points for playing in the Casual Friday that will then go to you as long as you play at least 2 rounds, which means you can't just play 1 round and drop. And this is so that we encourage you to bring whatever silly or creative decks that you want, because it's an opportunity to get used to the tournament environment and prepare for the Conquest Eternal Sunday Challenge tournament that comes up on Sundays. That was a throw to you, Phoenixton.
Wait, yes, the last Sunday of each month is gonna be the invitational. We're gonna check your points at the end of the month, and we're gonna invite the players with the most points. So yeah, you should participate in as much tournaments as you can, or you should win some because that awards a lot of points.
Speaking of awarding a lot of points, it's the ECL Sunday Challenge, which will happen every Sunday that isn't the end of the month invitational.
Yes.
That's going to be the best place to get invitational points because it is what is going to be our big competitive event. It's a Swiss conquest where you bring 4 decks and have 1 ban. You can find the rules for our conquest format over on Calaria's website, the eternaltournaments.com. And that means that the games in the Eternal Sunday Challenge will be best of 5, as each player will have 3 decks to use. And we'll do a cut to top 8 in the Sunday events, and
Yeah, the
the
Sunday
points
event
for the
isn't
Sunday
capped at
Challenge
all.
are doubled for the Swiss portion compared to the Tuesday and Thursday weekly events. And then there's additional points for people who do well in the top 8.
Yes, that's it. I don't know what to add to your beautiful recap of our events. So basically, guys, you can participate in as many tournaments as you want. You don't have for today, for example, you obviously do not have to be a European to play. If you can play, then be our guest. Seriously, we appreciate everybody playing in our tournaments. It's making us very, very happy to see that there is as much support as there is right now in the community. And yes, that's it. I think, guys, you can close this.
Yeah, thank you to everybody for watching and for playing and for sponsoring the Great Parliament, either through Twitch subs or through spending money at the Matcherino, like Erkyoto and Duncan, though he's part of the team. It's kind of weird there, but he really has spent $60 on this by buying Soylent, which is awesome. And our most recent additional supporter is, what's his name again? On the Matcherino page, it doesn't show his name.
Croge?
Oh yeah, it's Croge. Croge, who we got to watch today.
Coach and
Now I
Enrico
feel-
supported
teammate.
us. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a teammate as well.
Yeah, teammate as well. Gosh, now I feel like a bad person. But thank you all
That
for
was
watching.
funny.
We hope to
Yes.
see you either watching or even playing in the Internal Casual Friday
Tomorrow, yes.
tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.